Hello everybody and welcome back. It is Dark Razeth here, bringing you guys another Final Blade video guide. This one has to do with skills. And this one was actually requested for, someone was saying that they don't quite understand how the skills work in the game. You know, you have 4 skills here, and if you have a 7-star, you have another skill here. Well, how do these work? What makes a good skill? What makes a bad skill? Why do I only see these 2? Well, so the reason why you only see 2 skills when you go in the game is you have an active, an ability that you can use in Woohie's case every 12 seconds, Kang's case every 16. You can see right there the cooldowns. You have a rage skill, which is the more that you hit an enemy and the more that you get hit, the higher the purple bar will raise underneath your hero. When that gets fully filled, you do your rage ability. Well, you get the choice to use it, but that's the only, that's why this is a little bit later on in matches. Then you have a passive ability, which has, in this case, attacking an enemy has a 10% chance to proc, 6-second cooldown, and then it does this. And you can only do it every 6 seconds. Here, same thing, attacking an enemy, 10% proc. You have a leader skill, so if this person is the leader of your party, then you get this buff here, or in the case of Kang, you get this buff here. Sorry about that, forgot to turn everything on the highest settings for you guys. So in the case of Kang, he does armor for everybody. The best 2 leadership skills in the game are Ashley and In-Ring, because they are the hardest stats to obtain in the game. Which is better between the 2 of them? Personally, I think In-Ring has the better one, especially when it comes to PvE and like clan raid and such. What he does is he does stun resistance for his. Well, actually, why am I sticking here? I could just show you. So his is attack damage of all enemies. I mean, that's still really good. I was thinking of Berserker In-Ring. Sorry. I was thinking of this one here. Crowd control resistance plus 22%. This is crazy good. And then you have Ashley, who gives critical strike chance, and at 7-star she only gets a slight more critical chance, because crit is very hard to come by in this game. So that's why I'll see a lot of people using Ashley, because of that. Just the leader buff is worth it. So then the last thing that we didn't go over there was the Attribution Skill. So all 7-stars have a specific thing that they excel in. So for Woohie, for example, does better in the dual survival. I'm pretty sure that's the 3v3 match. Muchin, same thing. Dual team match though. That's the 5v5. Yangju gives herself more HP and damage in Endless Tower. You have In-Ring, who gives everybody 10% bonus damage in Adventure. So when it comes to skills, what for Attribution, this is actually going to be in a guide I'm going to be making tomorrow, but you can level these up. So a max of 16.9% bonus damage. So let me show you that real quick. So for my Woohie here, you see for her skills, if I go to try to level up this skill, it costs gold. I go to try to level up this skill, and it costs this. Well, see, and a max of 200 can be spent right now. So let's go see where can we find that. Go to duel. Go to enter match. You can enter match either way. So I'm going to show in this one here. Then you have to click reward. Then you go to points or season. This can show you how much you're going to earn. Points is, so you see here I have 418 points. That's the amount of currency that I've gotten. So I'm going to buy a box here. This is the only thing that you should buy from this shop. Technically, if you get 50 market tokens, this one could be worth it if you really need the early game progression, if you're really having a hard time, because 100 market tokens is a 5-star piece of gear and you can roll the dice. If you get a 3 or above for a 5-star gear, you can awaken it, and then it became worth it. This is not worth it, and this is not worth it. The Attribution Box, though, let's go ahead and grab it here. So we can get a max of 100 per each one. We're actually going to open them one at a time. 99, alright, there you go. My first box I opened, I got 55. Okay, so we got exactly the 3 averages. The lowest, the middle, and the highest. So now when I go to her skills here, I can now max this out. And you see it went from a 50 to a 70% bonus damage, okay? So, to show you in combat, I should have just done a friendly match. It's fine. Well, I need to show you both of them anyways. Your skills work differently in PvP than they do in PvE. And so it's a good thing that I'm showing it this way. Right. So, you can see right here how they have cooldowns. When the cooldown's done, you can see that they are activated. You can trigger up to... there you go. 5. I don't usually trigger 5 in a row that I want to be done. But you could trigger up to 5 abilities in a row. Or 5... you can queue up to 5 abilities that you want them to use in their specific order. It's your way of manually playing, even on auto. So, then you see when the purple bar raises, you have their rage ability. Then you'll see them using abilities in between when they're not actually using actives. And so what those are those are the passive abilities that sometimes proc. Actually, you might want to pay attention to your screen when you're doing this, because Woohee, for example, 7-star, has a Quicktime event for her passive ability. There's a bar that starts at the top that goes down, and you have to click a button, and the quicker you click it, the more damage she does with her strike. Yep. So, there are Quicktime events. I actually just noticed it for the first time yesterday. I wasn't fully paying attention to my auto all the time, and I saw it, and I was like, what is this? And I had to show it to somebody else with screen sharing. They're like, I don't know, let's try to force it to happen. And it is, Woohee has a random Quicktime event on one of her skills. It's a passive skill, you know, it has a % chance to activate. So, there's that, and then in PvP it works a little bit differently. I guess I forgot to explain it there. In PvE, when you use a skill, everything on the screen freezes, and you use your ability. Now let's go and let's fight somebody here. Let's do a friendly match against Rujanilla here. So in PvP, oh, I'm a little bit stronger. In PvP, when you use a skill, nothing freezes. So in PvE, a skill can really make the difference, because that pause allows your animation to not matter. Now I'll go over that in another second here. There's a lot to talk about for skills, so I can understand why people would be confused. So here, we're gonna use Miki's ability first and Woohee second, because Miki is a full party knockdown, and it's on the lowest cooldown of any skill in the game. Miki's cooldown is insane. There's a reason why anybody asks me, is Miki good? I will say, she's fantastic. So, I'm actually going to go over this a little bit later, about friendly battles and how to improve yourself for PvP, because I friendly battled Starry last night for back and forth. We were, well, on our own screens, we were battling for probably about 2 hours, and we learned more in those 2 hours than we had in days of play. So let's talk about skill and skill animations here. Let's go to Miki here to show her off. Where's that little... oh, 7-star, right. I was gonna say, I was looking for the fur hat. Alright, so you can click here, and this brings you up to a dummy testing. So Miki's active is a 10-second cooldown. See right there? So, in PvE, this right here, all of that right there, is canceled by the fact that you stop to do your skill, because it freezes the screen for you. In PvP, when she activates from here until there, until it hits the enemy, she can be knocked down out of it. She can be knocked down out of her ability. She can be killed during her ability. It can end up not going off. So the second that your skill hits the enemy, that is when you've done the ability. So animations actually matter. So if you want to look at your, let's say you have 8 6-stars and you want to see the difference between what makes a good one and what makes a bad one. If you guys are wondering how we made the tier list, it wasn't just statistically who's better, you know, who has the highest damage stats, you know, who has the most knockdowns, you know, who has the most knockdowns, who has the most damage, that sort of thing. We looked at cooldown times, we looked at animations to see who had the quickest animations, which is why people like 7-star Woohee got such a good rating, because her skill is near instantaneous. Rage here, see that long animation right there? There are people with their rage skills that instantly use their rage skill. So that does matter, because if you're about to die and you want to get off your rage before you die, this is not the way you do it. You're most likely not going to get that off. This one here. Yeah, see, there you go. You saw how quickly that one was? That is an instantaneous CC right there. Near instantaneous CC. So, when looking at an ability, what makes a good one, what makes a bad one? So, anything that says knock down all enemies is the best CC in the game right now, currently. Stuns are important, but we rated knockdowns slightly higher on the scale, because knockdowns happen no matter what. I mean, you can get resistance here to hold on, let me show you guys. So if you've never done it, on here you can look under the resistance. You can see burn, charm, bleeding, freeze, electric, stun, poison, fear, taunt, silence, snare, blind, physical, debuff, fire, frost, light, darkness, CC. So CC resistance is the only thing that stops knockdown. It's the only thing in the game that stops knockdown. Otherwise, if you don't have CC resist, which is pretty much only gotten from Berserker in-rangs, and I think a couple of other people might have it, and maybe there's some from gear. I don't know all the gear in the game. I don't know all the awakenings in the game, so let me just clear that up now. I don't... Feel free to tell me that I'm wrong, because then I will know the information. But this is the only thing that can resist knockdowns, which is why, like, clan raids, sometimes they'll say knockdown resist. So that's why we've rated knockdown so high, because if I look here and I look at her skills, and, well, Shadow isn't a good example, and I look at Ashley, she has a 20% chance to freeze, which is a CC. 20% chance to freeze. Here, 20% chance to freeze. And you can have a your leader skill be freeze resist, thus nullifying 2 of Ashley's CCs here. Who is a person who has a stun? Whereas here you have 60% chance to stun. So we actually rated this higher. The way that we rated our skills was like this. You have the single most important is knock down all. The next one down is the one that has the chance to get the 74% chance to stun. And then the next one down would be the stun all. Because stun all starts at a base of 30% chance. So on average, this actually is going to be better for you. Because you're if you look here, you'll see, so we took this into account as well. You see, it has a 6-second cooldown, stuns an enemy with up to a 74% chance. So let's go to a stun all Did regular Woohee have a stun all? Yeah. So this one is a 30% chance to stun all, but it's only on her rage skill. You know, we had one that was a stun all that was like a 16-second cooldown or something. So, better because it is a very short cooldown and a much higher chance to stun the target. You're more likely to stun that target that she's attacking. And then, what was some of the other things that we looked at here? This is the third best in the game. The HP and crit chance split. This is the third best leader skill in the game, and the reason why HP is so important, in addition to crit, is because a lot of your healers will heal off of HP. Let's go to a healer here, Celia, right here. She heals off of damage, which is why recovers HP equivalent to attack damage. So, but if you look at the better healer, Diane, recovers HP of the lowest HP, recovers HP of the ally with the lowest HP equivalent to a percentile of their HP. So this means the tankier you are, the bigger that heal is. And if you have a giant heal pool and you're being healed for, let's say you have 20k HP and you just healed for 12,000 HP, as opposed to look at Celia here, who heals for 572% of her attack damage. Well, let's say her attack damage is 2,000. Then she will do that amount, the same amount of healing to one ally. Well, roughly 572. So, and then if you look at my character here, you'll see, you know, let's look at a healer here. She's not going to get that nearly, this is, 6-star healer. But she's not going to get nearly that same amount of damage, which is why percentile healing is better than attack damage healing. So if you look at her, you'll see she heals based on attack damage. She heals based on attack damage. So that's the reason why, if you guys are wondering why in our tier list, why we rated 7-star Diane the highest 7-star is she heals 30% of your HP and can have 100% uptime on it, and then had a 60% heal, once again scaling off of HP, whereas, these healers, you'll see recover 22% of HP of allies over 8 seconds. This is why Shudo is very good. He does a lot of buffs and debuffs, but his yin-yang of cure, this is why he's so good. He makes you take less damage and recover a percentile of your HP, which, once again, we just talked about, percentile is stronger. So, I think I've covered most of what you guys need to know about skills. So, remember when going into PvP that the lower skill cooldowns, if you get your ability first and you deal damage to them first, and you have a chance to zero a person out before they even get to get their skill, you're most likely going to win. So when looking at a PvP team, look at, you'll notice the people that we rated have very low skill cooldowns. Look at Miki here, 10-second skill cooldown. Look at Francie, 15, 16. You have some that are up to 20, One of the reasons why Hild is rated so highly, where is she? No, that's Celine. Is he here? Yeah. One of the reasons why Hild is rated so highly is she hits really hard, but she has that 20-second cooldown. So for Hild, if you have her on your team, if you have her on your PvP team, know that she's going to be the last person to hit, but when she does, she hits hard. So if you're wondering why you're winning a fight, and then you just lose, it's because that 20-second cooldown finally happened. So I hope any of this rambling, any of this, I didn't really have a plan other than to just talk about the good, the bad, I hope that this helped people to understand why we did what we did in the tier list, Starry and I, and to explain some skills, to explain the passives, the active, the rage skill, the attribution skill once you get a 7-star. And if you guys were wondering, when it comes to stats, the origins, you'll notice, look at HP here, 255. Let's look at one person down, 196. All origins have about 20 to 30%, 20 to like 40% more base stats, which is why they tend to get rated higher. Now, does that mean they're the best heroes in the game? No. In my eyes right here, Sohi is probably the best non-origin 7-star, and Celia also, because of her passive here. This passive right here, this is a different one here. Cooldown 15 seconds, no activation. This is just every 15 seconds your allies take up to 27% less damage for 10 seconds. Doesn't need to be activated or anything, so hopefully that explains our rating on her. And then I wanted to show you guys was it Diane? No. So the highest proc chance, which you see, you can't actually raise your proc chance here, is actually Muchin, which is one of the reasons why he got rated so highly as well, because he has almost double what some of the other heroes in the game have. You'll see here, she has a 10% chance to proc. He has a 17% chance to proc, so make sure you're taking this into account. It's not just this is going to happen all the time. This is going to happen at a 17% chance. So hopefully you guys enjoyed any bit of this. Hopefully I made some amount of sense to you guys. If you like this video, please go ahead and leave a like rating. If you have anything you want to know, any comments, any questions, any further guides you guys want me to have, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. And if you enjoy this or any of the other variety content that I make, as I don't only just cover Final Blade, feel free to subscribe. See you guys later.